And Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live on Facebook and YouTube. It is Tuesday, May 13th, and someone out there left the heat on yesterday. I don't know if you noticed. I noticed. I was sitting at home yesterday afternoon and I was like, well, wait a second. This was not like this on Thursday afternoon when I took off for a weekend of healing and fun with friends. And yesterday, it was hot. So all kinds of changes unfolded. I cranked all my ceiling fans up a notch. And I thought to myself, well, we're definitely into iced coffee and headlines territory now, and it's just the beginning. I posted a little cartoon on our Facebook page wall, and somebody asked, "Is this normal?" And I said, "Well, this is just a rehearsal of what's gonna happen next." Anyhow, the heat is on. The heat is on, and it is what it is, and it happens every year, and it's time to embrace it. There's nothing else to do. And this is my quick personal reaction to the weather. I hope you're doing great wherever you are. It is great to see you. It's great to see. Oh my goodness, look at all those YouTubers that are now watching us live on YouTube. How fun is that? Um, it's always great to see all of you watching live. This morning, I already told you it's Tuesday, May 13th, but we have all kinds of news to the point that I didn't have time in the usual time that I allocate to prepare the news. I didn't even have time to finish preparing all the news that I had for today. Fortunately, we'll have some interesting leftovers for tomorrow that are not time sensitive. So let's go on with the broadcast. As usual, I ask you to add a capital letter Q for comments that you wish to have highlighted later on. And a capital letter N, as in new, will allow us the opportunity to welcome you to the cluster if you're watching live for the first time. Let's get started with good news. This comes to us. This has to do with Mayor Munguia's accomplishments. The students and teachers of Jose Maria Morelos y Pavon School, located in the neighborhood of the same name, expressed their gratitude to Mayor Munguia for the inauguration of a new dome at the school. This project, and just in time for the summer months and the heat, this project is an example of the municipal government's commitment to improving education infrastructure and student well-being. Mayor Munguia emphasized that 5 domes actually have been built so far, and this is the first of a total of 36 to be inaugurated during his administration. This represents a response to the requests of teachers and parents who have been asking for years for a civic roof for the school. I mean, imagine practicing sports during the warmer months without having protection from sun rays. He also announced upcoming programs for students, such as the distribution of tablets, backpacks, supplies, uniforms, and shoes, among other items. And then we have an update on the pier in Mismaloya. But you got to check out these water taxi vehicles or vessels that were clearly artificially generated, because I've never seen water taxis like that here in the Bay. In a recent interview, Mayor Munguia stated that he is continuing with the project of the nautical stair or the nautical ladder, the escalera náutica, And this is, of course, in response to requests from representatives of um, environmentalists, biologists, and researchers from Puerto Vallarta who have asked him to halt and reconsider the project of building new piers. And he responded that the specialist's position is completely legitimate. In a response, he stated that he will publicize the issue and but will continue with measures to mitigate risks. Now, what I mean by publicize here in Spanish, we or locally we use a term called socializar, which translates to socialize, which has nothing to do with mingling, but it has more to do with the conscious exercise of involving the community and getting the community's reaction to a certain proposed idea or project. Anyhow, he will publicize the issue, but will continue with measures to mitigate risks. He also indicated that they will implement modifications to vessels to protect marine fauna. He emphasized that a 55 million peso investment is already planned to begin construction of the pier in Mismaloya. And I suppose this is good news as long as the administration is mindful of environmental concerns. And I look at these curious modern water taxis and I wonder, um, how will existing water taxi captains make a living? And I'm not expecting you to know, but this is just the kind of thing that I think about. I mean, will they be given financial facility to update their lanchas or their pangas? We don't know. But as always, I'll keep you posted and we'll see what happens next. Now, this is a Tomala item for you after a video circulated over the weekend on social media showing construction work on that building in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood where foundation work caused a dangerous sinkhole under the adjacent building. The municipal government shut down the project and forced the construction company to take repair measures. This was reported by the director of urban development, engineer Jorge Valderas, who confirmed that this project did indeed cause damage to the neighboring subsoil and that this construction company is now forced to reverse the damage in order to continue with its own project. And all I have to say here is tómala. And moving right along, this is something that I share with you just for the sake of awareness. It happens all over Mexico, and I'm sure it happens elsewhere in the world. Outside of many swanky nightclubs, there is staff standing next to a chain that is removed to allow access to the venue. But the criteria to let people in or not is as shady and dubious as a Vallarta restaurant gratuity included line that somehow only shows up on foreigner tabs. Anyhow, Nuevo León Representative Jesus Alberto Elizondo has presented a proposal to the Nuevo León State Congress to prohibit bouncers or cadeneros, we call them from the word cadena, which means chain, to prohibit them from guarding nightclubs, bars, recreational centers, and other private establishments open to the public. This proposal is part of a reform initiative to the law to prevent and eliminate discrimination, the alcohol law, and the law to prevent and combat alcohol abuse, along with a regulation of its sale and consumption. According to the Morena legislator, this proposal seeks to end the practice implemented by security personnel who are characterized by denying people access to these nightclubs based on arbitrary criteria such as physical appearance, clothing, skin color, complexion, age, or social status. And this happens all over Mexico. And if this passes at a state level and then moves on to a federal level, even though I don't go to places like that, I'll be happy that it passed. And yes, after Mother's Day weekend in Puerto Vallarta, the heat wave arrived, according to meteorologist Victor Manuel Cornejo Lopez. He also indicates that Puerto Vallarta could reach temperatures above 37 degrees, and it's only May. So may this serve as a good reminder of what's to come in the summer months. For that matter, a new heat wave will hit much of Mexico, according to the National Meteorological Service. Um, and they emitted a warning this morning. Now, what can we actually expect? Let's turn over to our snarky weather friend to see what's going on. Well, that is snarky. The question is, who amongst us hasn't accepted a gift of a 400 million Qatari jet? I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to tell you that we are now enjoying 28 degrees. Humidity is amusingly low at only 56%, but that's likely to change. Our weather forecast for today says we're going to have a humid day with clear skies, a high of 33 and a low of 21. Then tomorrow, Wednesday, another humid day with mostly clear skies, a high of 33 and again a low of 21. And Thursday, humid with clear skies throughout the day, a high of 32 and a low of 19. Welcome the summer heat. There's only so much we can do about it. We might as well embrace it. Now, moving right along, I want to have a little mini discussion to the extent that we can have a discussion here by me reading your comments, but I'm curious about your opinion. You see, there is this headline that I caught this morning that has to do with Puerto Vallarta receiving awards from TripAdvisor. And just this weekend, I was having a conversation with some friends, and the conversation had to do with, as an English-speaking local, and I'm going to say in Puerto Vallarta, but this, of course, could apply to your own city. How much, if you are an English-speaking local that is living here in Puerto Vallarta, how much do you pay attention to TripAdvisor ratings and reports about here, about Puerto Vallarta? And the reason I bring it up is because during the weekend, there was this conversation again about businesses that only cater to English-speaking tourists, and how important it is that they have a good TripAdvisor standing or score or reviews or whatever you want to call it. But then some of these businesses that are so invested in TripAdvisor are also the first to complain when the tourists go away. And in my personal opinion, it's, you either choose to just cater to tourists and live with it when the tourists go away, or you find a strategic way to also cater to English-speaking locals. So going back to my original question, as an English-speaking local, do you care about TripAdvisor ratings here in Puerto Vallarta? Please feel free to throw in your 2 cents. This is just about me being curious. I personally don't even think to look at TripAdvisor if I'm thinking of going somewhere here in Puerto Vallarta. If I go to another city, maybe I will remember to look at it. But no, TripAdvisor is just not something that I personally pay lots of attention to. That said, of course, I will leave the link to that TripAdvisor news item in the show notes for you to peruse if you choose to do so. Now, moving right along, one more thing that I want to let you know about. The Puerto Vallarta Pet Parade Sunset Dog Walk is back this year. It will take place on May 19 at 6 p.m. starting at Lázaro Cárdenas Park. I don't know where it will go. And of course, this has to be relevant to English-speaking locals because I don't think that many of you travel with your pooches to Puerto Vallarta for Gay Pride. But I could be wrong. All I can tell you is if you're a dog owner and you want to dress up your dog and take him or her on a Pride Pet Parade Sunset Dog Walk, you can do that on the 19th at 6 p.m. And of course, this is another reminder in case you didn't catch the news from yesterday. We're all getting together tomorrow for dinner at 5:30 p.m. at Rico Indian on the Isla Rio Cuale, where it will probably be hot and balmy, but we are going to be brave and we're going to go and enjoy ourselves just because we can. If you have nowhere else to go, if you have nothing else to do, if you want to join me and a few others um, for dinner at this amazing Indian restaurant, feel free to join us. All you have to do, or I can ask that you do, if it's possible, is that you take a look at the Facebook invite and kindly RSVP so that we can let the owners know how many people are coming. And this is pretty much what I have to share with you. Let's turn the table and see what you have to share with me this morning. Param pa boom boom pidim pim pim. We are having, oh, that was me. That was my first comment this morning. We are having a heat wave. And look at it. It has a little YouTube icon, but then the same comment posted on Facebook has a Facebook icon. I can look at the comments from both platforms. Unfortunately, you cannot, but I'm happy to share. Let's see. Boom, pururum, pim, pim. Many good mornings as usual. So nice to read them all. Muffin says, my golden retriever is my barometer. And so yesterday, after half an hour of watching her try to cool herself off after a late morning walk, I broke down and finally flipped on the AC in the bedroom. Mazel tov. For years, I have rejected the idea of having an air conditioner here at home because, I would put it in the bedroom. I would not want the whole apartment to be AC dependent. And of course, if I shut the door at night, that would not have allowed Luna the opportunity to come in and out of the bedroom as she pleased. But now Luna is not here. But I'm still not going to get an air conditioner. It's too expensive. But Muffin, Logan, as long as you've been walking out and about, do you have anything to report on the construction of that new aquarium at La Isla? If you've seen any signs of construction, I'd love your comment. And then Logan adds, pro tip, keep the AC around 24 to 25 at the dry, not the cool setting, and you will notice a significant difference in your electric bill. That's a great tip. Usually when I stay at hotels, I always set my AC at 24. That's kind of like my favorite number. Let's see what else we have. Do-do-do. Albert says, I've definitely transitioned to AC in the afternoon. Good for you. Wait, is that possible? We're hoping to get up to 12 Celsius today. Where could you be writing from that it is so cold? My goodness, Susan. I wonder if that was a typo. 12 Celsius. That would be really, really cold. Monish, I am so excited to have dinner with you guys tomorrow night. I am so grateful that you are on the island. I am so grateful that Rico Indian is there. I'm not a frequent flyer. I'm not a frequent customer. But every time I go and have dinner with you, I love you and I love your staff and what you do for the cats at the island. And I'm sure that it must be challenging for you during the summer months. So we'll be there tomorrow and spend some pesitos with you. I can't wait. Let's see. Feedback about TripAdvisor. Thank you. I don't check out TripAdvisor much. Thank you for that, Albert. Neither do I. Karen says, I pay no attention to TripAdvisors. Dale says, I don't use TripAdvisor or TA. And Monish, as a business owner, says it always boils down to them asking for advertising. And then if you don't, they'll just drop you like a hot potato. Well, I'm personally a big fan of word of mouth. We guide ourselves through word of mouth. I love getting your recommendations and I love sharing mine. And as far as Monish is concerned, and as far as Rico Indian is concerned, it is a great place to enjoy a nice Indian meal. And again, I look forward to tomorrow evening. No, I don't care about TripAdvisor reviews, says Kathy. Um, John is, I guess, on my side. Well, I don't know that I rely heavily on TripAdvisor, but I do rely on TripAdvisor when booking trips. I ignore complaints about weather, sea conditions, and such, as that is not an issue that they can control. Great point. Boom, boom, boom. Now, this is really interesting. Monish also adds, I have seen most of our clients refer to Google Maps reviews. And Google Maps is something that I pay attention to everywhere. Whether it's here and I'm trying to find, usually my go to reason for Google Maps is because it allows you to see if a venue is open or not. And because I happen to have a little bit of Google muscle power, I can submit reviews, and my having been on Google so many years has some kind of weight factor that if I put up corrections, for example, on a business on business hours, they get paid attention to. So what I'm trying to say is I do pay a lot of attention to Google Maps. I love it, whether it's here in Puerto Vallarta or when I'm traveling. I'm repeating myself. I don't mean to do that. Boom, boom. Um, David says, I can't even remember the last time I used TripAdvisor. And Albert sides with me as well. I look more at the Google Map reviews. Sherry has a queue. We live in a tourist area and the store owners care more about the locals and what they think because they are here all year long and not only seasonal. Without 12 months earnings, they could close their doors. See, I think we're all pretty much on a similar wavelength, and I find that very, very interesting. I pay little attention to TripAdvisor. I am more inclined to take the advice of friends. Bravo. Thank you for that. Queen of Question, Laura. Dinner sounds so amazing. Have fun, everyone. I'm excited about it. Mark says, I don't use TripAdvisor that often. Sometimes when going to Europe, I'll have a quick look, but usually discount the negative comments about weather, food services, etc. TripAdvisor and popularity contests, ever since I managed a Reader's Choice Awards project for many, many, many years at Vallarta Lifestyles, I've come to realize that they're more like popularity contests, but don't get me started. One has to wonder how a pier will even fit in the Mismaloya area. That's a great point, Laura. But there's that walkway that goes all the way to the end of the mini bay. So, I mean, they might build it all the way out there. I don't know. They do something like that in Quimixto. It's not right on the beach. It's on the edge of the little mini bay. But we'll have to see what happens when we get to see the renderings. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Logan throws a big. As the administrator of a local small business in the hospitality sector that draws the majority of its revenue from English-speaking extracts, I can unequivocally confirm that TripAdvisor's clout in the market. It's all about Google reviews these days or reviews on the individual bookings OTAs, whether it's Expedia, Booking, or Airbnb, etc., etc. So maybe TripAdvisor is no longer relevant. I don't know. And then Logan answers my question. No construction yet on the aquarium, just a billboard, and very wary about the addition of penguins. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about all of that. I am in Victoria, Canada, and our temperature varies between 12 and 18 Celsius right now. So yes, it's cold. Oh, that would be lovely. I don't know if you are enjoying it, Simone, but I love it when it's a little cold. Hello, Nina. Nina is my dear local friend, and it is my friend for whom I created that Facebook group for CrossFox vehicle owners And I have to say, I'm having burgers with Nina tonight. Larcito and I are. And Nina burgers will be served with AC. How exciting! I love it. And I suppose this brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for being a part of this community. I am always fascinated to hear your takes on things, particularly as they relate between the tourists and the locals. You know, we primarily cater to you English speaking locals, but we also want to be able to provide some content for our tourist friends as well. Um, so there you have it. Today was great. Thank you so much for that. Tomorrow, more headlines, more coffee, iced coffee, and more stories for you. Have a great day.